everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on the blog. You don't want to miss out giveaways, goodies, contests, exclusives, okay? Don't miss out. Also follow me on every single social network you can think of. And today's video is going to be for you potential CRAs out there, and those of you that are interested in becoming a CRA. I mean, I don't blame you. They make really good money, and right now that field is on fire as far as how in demand CRAs are, but they're not just going to hire anybody, okay? You need to have some experience. So because of that, I started a CRA Academy. I'm right in the middle of teaching courses. This video is actually inspired by one of the classes I literally just got finished teaching about half an hour ago. So I'm working on building a scalable product where I can have more of you guys come in for the time being. I'm coaching students one-on-one, so email me if interested, Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Just please note that you may have to follow up with me several times until I get a more organized system in place when it comes to my waiting list, because the demand has been ridiculously high for this service. So I am working on that scalable product, but this video, okay, let's get to the important stuff. This video is gonna teach you the 5 different types of monitoring visits that exist out there in the wild, in real clinical research studies. They sometimes might have different names, but for the most part, these are the 5 different types of monitoring visits that exist. And I know some of you nerds out there watching are going to say, well, you missed co-monitoring or you missed this. Look, I'm talking about the 5 most basic monitoring visits where you're going to spend 90% of your time doing as a CRA. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first one is site selection visit. Okay, as it sounds, this is where the CRA goes to a site. Before the site gets the study, the site has to complete a feasibility survey. If the sponsor likes what they see on the feasibility survey from the site, they'll send a CRA out there to go make sure, first of all, to make sure that the site exists. Second of all, to make sure that the site has experience doing these type of trials. Also, to make sure that the site can enroll the patients that the study will be seeking. And finally, they're just going to confirm all the numbers from the feasibility survey, okay? So that's a site selection visit. Those are pretty easy because you don't need a deep knowledge of the protocol. You just pretty much need to know the nature of clinical research and the particular phase that the study is that you are going out to do the site selection visit for. So you need to know that because you need to know what to look for when you're doing your site visit, which occurs at the site selection visit. You'll be doing a site tour. So they will physically take you to tour the site after you're done assessing all the staff members' expertise, experience, patient numbers, all that stuff, okay? Second type of monitoring visit, site initiation visit. Okay, this requires knowledge of the protocol, although not as much as some of the other visits, which I'll get into, but site initiation visit, the site has already been selected, regulatory documents have already been done, everything's ready, contract and budget have been negotiated, but the site is not able to screen patients until the site initiation visit occurs. So at the site initiation visit, or the SIV, you as the CRA will be going in there, you're going to confirm that all the regulatory documents are in place, you're going to confirm that the IRB approvals are in place, you're going to confirm that the contract and budgets are in place. You're going to make sure the CDA is there, which is the non-disclosure agreement. You're going to make sure that coordinators are up to date, trained, have access, login access to the EDC, as well as to all the other vendor portals. There's tons of vendor portals in any study. EDC is just one of them. Then you're going to make sure the PI is trained. You're going to make sure the PI understands the protocol. You're going to finally confirm whether the lab kits are there. And I'm oversimplifying it, of course. This is YouTube, I want to keep it short. There's a lot more that goes into it, a lot more details, but you got to learn that in the CRA Academy, okay? But in a nutshell, like, this is pretty much what you need to know about site initiation visits. Now, regular monitoring visits. This is where you do need deep knowledge of the protocol. And Thankfully, for most monitors, you're only in charge of one protocol at a time. You may have numerous sites that you're responsible for, but for the most part, they're all doing the same study. You get another protocol, you go in there. Now there's two types of monitoring. There's traditional monitoring and there's risk-based monitoring. Traditional monitoring requires 100% source data verification, whereas risk-based monitoring doesn't. So depending on the monitoring plan for that study, you're either going to go into the site and do 100% source data verification, look for queries, look for protocol deviations, do IP accountability, which is drug accountability, and then you'll meet with the PI face-to-face, and you'll do regulatory maintenance checkups on the site, okay? Now, with risk-based monitoring, you don't need to do 100% source data verification. You focus on certain areas that the sponsor would like you to focus on for that study, or for that particular site, based on that site's risk profile for that study, okay? That's complex, that's videos in and of itself. I've got tons of those videos on my channel if you're interested. Then there is the site closeout visit. So this is when the study has ended and the site needs to let the IRB know that they're not going to be conducting the study anymore. This typically happens either when a sponsor has finished the trial or terminated the study, or when a sponsor has terminated a particular site. Maybe they're not happy with that site, so they want that site shut down. Whatever the case may be, closeout visit is the same. IP, which is the study drug, is usually shipped back to the sponsor, so you as the CRA are going to be responsible for that. The lab kits need to be destroyed. You need to make sure that the medical records, the archives, that the site has a plan and a process for keeping study archives for X amount of years, depending on the protocol. And you're going to make sure that the IRB has been notified that the site is closed and research activities for that study, for that site, are terminated. Okay, and of course you look for any outstanding queries. You make sure all safety reports have been signed and filed, and then a lot of other maintenance stuff. Okay. Finally, you get the pre-audit visit, which you basically do 100% source data verification, and you go through literally everything other than source. So when you finish with source, you're obviously looking for protocol deviations, for queries. You're looking for IP accountability, you're looking for PI oversight, you're looking for documentation where there might be holes in the documentation from the site level as far as transcribing notes or progress notes. You're basically doing everything you need to do to prepare for when the FDA or another regulatory agency may come in, or maybe the sponsor comes in for an audit, that everything's in order and that you did everything in your power to correct all mistakes and tie up all loose ends, all right? And those are the 5 different types of monitoring visits out there. Now, with risk-based monitoring, there's another visit, remote monitoring visit, where you'll pretty much do everything I've discussed, but remotely via virtual workspaces. And one of the best virtual workspaces is Interlinks Via, which sponsors this show. You might see them, no, it'll be here. Interlinks Via, you'll see the logo for them. So they sponsor the blog. I want to thank them for that. And that's the 5 basic types of monitoring visits in a nutshell. Hopefully it helps. If you want to learn more about being a CRA, let me know, right? Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. And as a matter of fact, as an incentive to get you guys to follow me on Snapchat, I'm going to talk about what to look for at a site selection visit when you're a CRA, Snapchat exclusive, alright? Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.